color. Vibes.
Hiya! Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all my wonderful people filled with greatness. Your girl's back at it with some more Cafe Unshot. So at the tail end of chapter 2 for Ignis, leading into chapter 3, we have to find out what the heck is going on with Ignis's background and why ain't nobody telling him that he killing everybody. He killing his own. Well, let me not say that. We don't know if that's true. It's an assumption, or he's suspected of killing his own kin. So let's begin, y'all. That night, we managed to make it back safely. To alleviate our exhaustion, we decided to rest in our respective bedrooms. As for the Minotaurs, we saw jumping into the wormhole before Ignis's revelation. Canis and the GPM agents who stood guard had already taken them all into custody. A day later, all of the exhaustion I accumulated in that freezing world finally began to leave me. That's for me. I got up out of bed, but I couldn't shake the anxious thoughts. I know how that is. Like, you just laying in bed and you just anxiety filled. Ugh, it's the worst. One thought more than the others. The revelations from the Minotaur and the image of Ignis's distraught face was burned in my mind. Mine too. Ignis. We immediately headed to our respective rooms after getting here, but I haven't spoken to him since. In fact, I don't even think he ever made eye contact with me. Karoro, perhaps out of worry, slept next to me in my bed, nestling his soft, plump body against mine. Thanks. Oh, what? I didn't even think Karoro was a her this whole time. So we just assigning genders all willy-nilly now. All right. Thanks to her, I could finally wake from my half asleep, half dreaming state of consciousness. Thanks, Karoro. I guess it's no use for me to dwell about it. So come on, y'all see this, right? So thanks to her, I could finally wake from my half asleep, half dreaming state of consciousness. And then I patted him. So, okay, we'll just Kuroro. That's what it'll be. I patted him as a gesture of thanks. So you're hungry too? Huh? My fingertips froze, processing Kuroro's abrupt demonstration of speech. Aww. Aww. Kuroro is just like my child, my baby. Kuroro eagerly flapped his hands and his tail, repeating those two words. Part of me started to think it was a desperate plea. What? Food? You want some food? Are you saying you want me to feed you like I did for Ignis? The thing is, I had never heard or seen Kuroro nag me for food like this before. But because he was, I picked him up and we headed down to the kitchen. I placed slices of raw fish onto a plate that Kuroro might eat since he resembled a seal, and I figured seals enjoyed fresh fish. Or penguins. But nope. He's like, I don't want this junk. I love me some fish, y'all. Kuroro expressed no interest in the fish. Instead, he shied away from it, completely disinterested. Huh? I took it to mean he wasn't hungry, but was he just repeating some words he recently learned? It was unclear to me what he meant by those words. As I was completing my mice in place for today, well, so y'all know we gotta look this up. Y'all know we gotta look this up. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get that set up here. Hold on, because they over here got me messed all the way up. So it said, hold on, search bar. MISE place, breakfast. So it's a phrase. It's a French culinary. So everything. Oh, so as I was completing I don't know. It says it's a phrase, but let me see if there's like a breakfast that's called that. That's a breakfast menu. So let's see. Let's see, y'all. We got the cafes in here, but usually the first option is the best option. I don't know. This is just an actual place. So I guess it's just a culinary phrase like they said. All right, so let's get back to it, y'all. Y'all know I'm gonna look it up. All right. The regulars began to arrive. Rendo, who came in rather early. Jomi, who accompanied. Oh, Jomi is just like, he's just a happy-go-lucky type of character, and just to know his backstory is like that really just sets me down on my face. It makes me sad, y'all. It really does. So Jomi, who accompanied him, who is Rendo. And my three favorite men. Well, Ignis is missing, so it should be four. But Messire back from the demon world. Canis, who held down the Minotaurs yesterday. The somewhat sleepy looking two. And Ignis is there with dots. Oh my gosh. It's just, the forlorn Ignis, thus completing the party. As we all partook in the meal, I recounted what had happened the previous day to Messire and the others. Then, after I finished my synopsis, Messire fell into deep thought. Pretty much, yeah.
危険とかどの口が言うのかね。あの牛くんたちの方がよっぽどじゃない？
Canis appeared to be in agreement, nodding calmly but affirmatively.
ただのでっち上げにしては、奴らは体を張りすぎている。アルムムが利用しているホールはあくまでも一方通行。落ちたら最後。
Well, maybe that's what they're leading us to believe, that it's a one-way ticket, but they actually know where it leads, so that's where they fell in. Let's see, y'all.
故郷には二度と戻れない。それが全世界共通の認識のはずだろう。まあそうっすよね。連中は GPM のホールやここのゲートのことは知らないはずっす。ってことは、そんな悲壮な覚悟を決めてまで兄貴を狙いに来てるってことっすもんね。つまり真偽はともかくイグニスが危険という妙な大義名分がある限り、アルムムたちはホールを見つけてはこの町を襲撃しに来るということですね。
だろうけど。いる。君大丈夫？いつもよりぼーっとしてるような。
ああ、いえ。昨夜の消耗がまだ回復しきっていないだけです。どうぞ話を続けてください。
Messire picked up where they left off.
とりあえず、アンシャンテやその周囲が脅威にさらされるなら、俺たちにとっても人事じゃないよ。魔獣そのものは俺たちからすればなんてことないけど、人間には十分すぎる脅威だもんね。
Then Ignis, who had maintained silence this whole time, finally opened his mouth.
別に、なの、俺がここから離れりゃ解決する話だろう。
No, Ignis, that's not what we're saying. But that's... Out of reflex, I interjected, but before I could complete my thought...
論外。論外なんだよ、イグニス。君がいなくなれば解決なんて話はね。だって大ぐらいの君がいないとさ、アンシャンテの売り上げが落ち込んじゃうわけだよ。
Right, gotta think with that business mind.
結果、ここが潰れてしまっては元も子もないだろう。それに問題を起こしているのはあくまでアルムム。あなた自身が被害を出してもいないのに害あるような言い方をするのはよろしくないかと。
That's from Ignis.
僕からも一言いいなら、随分とらしくないなって、そんな風に思うよ、イグニス。うっせ。
Although it was undeniable that his demeanor was atypical, Ignis was unwilling to argue his stance any further. That's from me. After listening to their exchange, I let out a heavy sigh of relief. Everyone thinks of Ignis as an integral part of this place. Enchant was a home away from home for them, and kicking him out absolutely out of the question. I'm glad, as I muttered under my breath. That's from Ignis. I locked eyes with Ignis, who seemed to have picked up on my voice, but that's from Ignis. He remained speechless and blithely turned away. That's from me. I knew it. He had been avoiding me since the previous night. I just knew it. That's from Canis. My Canis, that's my hubby.
彼らの横暴は人間界そのものを危機にさらしているのだ。それをこのまま見過ごすわけにはいかない。ここは我々も手を打つべきだと考える。余計なことすんな。これはベスティアと俺の問題だ。てめえの不始末はてめえでつける。
やれやれ、今日の君は何かと自分一人で抱え込もうとするね。具体的にどう解決するつもりなんだい？アルムムたちの根城もわからないんだろ？
それに時間をかければホールと人間界の関連性が他の凶悪な魔獣にも伝わるかもしれません。そうなってしまえばこれ幸いとアルムム以外の魔獣たちまで一斉に人間界に押し寄せる可能性もあるでしょう。兄貴、ここは皆さんに協力してもらった方がいいっすよ。物理的な力しかねえ俺らだけじゃさすがにどうにもできないっす。平和な人間界に味を占めて戦争まがいなことを仕掛けそうなやつだって魔獣には5万といるじゃないですか。
That's from Ignis. Messire and the others considered Ignis's silence as silent agreement, so they carried on discussing a plan of action.
じゃあ話をまとめると、俺たちが取るべき行動の候補は2つ。まず1つ目、この町に繋がってるっていうベスティアのホールの脅威をなくすこと。
That sounds like a lot. What's the second option?
それは確かに重要ですが、現実的な意見ではありませんね。ホールは基本的に我々の手にも負えない未知の現象ですし。だね。俺も天崎島の件はともかくとして、ホールなら何でもかんでも閉じれるわけじゃないし。
Ah, so even the Demon King has his limitations, and the angels, so let's see.
ならせいぜい発生する場所を事前に特定して魔獣の侵入を警戒するぐらいかな。
しかしそれでは後手に回り続けてしまう。であればやはりそう、2つ目の候補、こっちが大本命になるかな。
Okay. That makes sense. That makes better sense, but more dangerous because you're putting this whole world in danger.
彼らがわざわざ戦いの場を人間界にする理由をなくすこと。
Which means if we can eliminate the notion that they must eliminate Ignis at all costs, then they wouldn't have to come here in the first place, right?
そういうことになるな。それさえ解決すれば人間界が戦場となることもなくなるだろ
The reason the Minotaurs started targeting Ignis all of a sudden was...
そもそもよ、正気を失って暴れる魔獣なんざてめえ以外にはいねえんだよ。魔獣はもともと自分勝手で残酷だからこそ、それを当然のこととして狂わねえ。どいつも理性を保ってる。だがてめえは違う。戦い、狂って暴れ、殺す。理性を保って戦う俺たちよりもよっぽど厄介じゃねえか。奴らが危険と見なしているイグニスの特殊性。便宜上暴走本能というか、それを何とかすればよいという話になる。
So his rampage instinct is an instinct held only by Ignis that sees Arumam as a danger. He loses his mind attacking both enemy and ally when in a rampage.
それができれば苦労しねえよ。
だろうね。聞く限り無意識的なもののわけだし、あの時帝が困惑した理由も納得だよ。ガキの頃に身内から聞いたことがあって、魔獣は激しい戦いで闘争本能を刺激しまくると正気を失って見境なく暴れちまうんだ。その件に関しては僕も初耳だな。アルムムの言葉を鵜呑みにするなら、イグニス以外の魔獣からそんな前例が見つかるわけがないしね。
Oh, but in terms of their sanity or lack thereof, it seems like all of the Minotaurs we've encountered were in a similar state. So how do we explain that? I posed the question sincerely, which prompted Rendo to pull out a tablet and fiddle with it for a bit. So we gotta find out who's drugging the Minotaurs. Who's drugging these beasts? They were drugged? I wonder if it's from that head honcho Minotaur. Whatever those drugs were, they had to be serious. Drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. I could hardly fathom such a thing ever existing in Bestia. Which leads me to ask, is it from here?
つまりアルムムたちはてめえらのサガで狂ってるわけじゃねえ。戦いで狂う魔獣はやっぱ俺だけってことだ。ここで気遣っても仕方ないし、そこは素直に認めるしかないよね。同じビニトルの男も肯定したって話だし。
Is there any way that his rampage instinct could be cursed using Two's... Oh, excuse me. Well, let's not curse Ignis. Could be cured using Two's magic. I might have come off as unreasonable, if not totally naive, but when I glanced over to 2, it seems he put serious consideration to my inquiry.
精神的な抑制ですか。それに近しい口実は得得していますが、現状では何とも言えませんね。
Darn, that was a viable option, I thought.
特にそれがイグニスの根幹。例えるのならば、人間でいうところの生理現象のようなものであれば、いくら抑制しようとも必ずタガが外れる時が来るでしょう。
That makes sense. You have a point.
ま、とにかくわかんないものは仕方ないよ。やれることからやっていこう。まずは暴走本能について詳しく調査かな。
Monsieur cut in, displaying his trademark smile. Then, in a hushed tone of voice, he spoke solemnly.
あとは万が一だけどさ、イグニスが本当に暴走したら、俺たちはそれを止めなきゃいけないし。
Oh darn. I really hope it doesn't come to that, but I really feel like that's what's gonna happen probably in the next chapter. It's hinted at right here. It's a spoiler.
曲がりなりにも実力は知ってるから、そりゃもうきっと本気で下手をしたら命のやり取りになるかもしれない。
Dots from Ignis.
そうなったらどこが舞台だろうと周辺への影響もただじゃ済まないしさ。まああとは同じアンシャンテの常連で、もっとシンプルに言えば仲間同士でそんなことしたくないじゃない。
Heck no. Silence hovered in the air between us. But in that silence, everyone's renewed resolve seemed to find its footing.
よし。ならばやはりイグニスの過去についてよく知る他のビニトルに話を聞くべきだろう。
ならベスティア行きは確定かな。いる。君もあったかくしていきなよ。
Yes, we don't want our dear number 2 to get sick.
次回はそれを念頭に、いわゆる気合を入れて臨みましょう。
More dots from Ignis. And so the discussion concluded. Monsieur and some of the others arranged for a trip to the Firewolf stronghold the very next morning. However, if I were to stay here all alone again, there's a chance that the suspicious person would return to fling me back in. So, it was decided that it would be safer if I traveled with them. At the end of our discussion, as everyone rose from their seats, Ignis? I called upon him instinctively, seeing as he was the last to rise from his seat.
なんかよか。
Nothing in particular, but
なら引き止めんな。
oh man, look at Ignis just playing the hardball here. Oh my gosh. I can feel how I can understand how he feels. He's just upset that I was there to witness him basically in his worst moment. Any guy wouldn't want the girl that he's probably fancying to see anything like that or hear anything bad about him. So Ignis spat these words out, saying nothing else as he turned his back to me and stomped upstairs. Oh, my face. I just can't stand it. It was just all licking my hand and in the park and dogs running all over. And then now it's just dots from me. Oh. A piece of silverware caught my eye. It sat on the edge of a plate, and I saw it as it lost balance and fell onto the table. The spot where it fell was the same where Ignis was sat earlier. Oh, then I realized the breakfast I had prepared for Ignis was hardly touched. It was left uneaten, long since cooled. Dots from Canis. Once everybody left the scene, Dots from me. I know. I'm feeling it too, y'all. No. I stared blankly for a few moments at Ignis's leftover breakfast. I tried my best that I could to make him feel at least a little better. I even used some of his favorite seasonings and whatnot, but I guess it wasn't to his liking. No, that wasn't it. At the moment, for Ignis, his entire belief system, his entire way of life had utterly crumbled. He had no strength in him to enjoy a meal. I reminded myself of this. Despite how hard I tried to convince myself, it was nevertheless impossible to lament.
店主さん、ちょっといいですか?
Huh? Exclamation points for me. Just as I was succumbing to my own gloom, Jomi appeared all of a sudden behind me and called out to me. What's the matter? I thought you were on your way to Bestia already.
いや、なんつうか、もやもやするもんがあって、戻ってきちゃったんす。
What's bothering you?
さっきの話し合いのことっす。
I detected a hint of reservation in Jomi's voice as he opened up.
なんか勝手に兄貴の本能を直すみたいな流れになっちまったじゃないですか。
Oh, right. Does that worry you?
当然じゃないですか。魔獣の中でただ一人兄貴だけが暴走するってことはすげえ特別だからっすよね。兄貴が最強無敵な理由もそこにあるかもしれないんすよ。だからその強さにつながってるもんを解決っつうか取り上げられるのはどうしても我慢できないっす。
That's for me. I fell speechless, surprised by the sentiment behind Jomi's emotional complaint. The man I saw before me was not the usual dull and haphazard lad that he is, but instead I saw a man who admired and wanted to protect Ignis's strength.
もちろんこのままじゃ危険なのは俺だって分かってるっすよ。でも兄貴は強いからこそ兄貴なんす。ベスティアを変えたいと必死にあがいてトップに立ったその力は兄貴の奇跡そのものなんすよ。
Jomi cried out passionately, reminding me of the heart behind Ignis's mission in life. That's...
あんただって危ないところを兄貴の力に散々守られてきたじゃないですか。
You ain't gotta say that. I saved my own life. But yeah, he probably did have a little hand in something.
それを今さらこの店にとって危険だから切り捨てるって。
He does have a point though.
そんなのいくらなんでも都合が良すぎるんじゃないですか。
That's for me. By this point, Jomi was almost yelling, but he made a good point. Ignis doesn't want this. We can't leave it alone. Let's see. Ignis doesn't want this. We can't leave it alone. We can't leave it alone. Ignis doesn't want this. I'm just gonna say we can't leave it alone. Ignis doesn't want this. I don't know. I'm just gonna choose this one. We can't leave it alone. We can't just let the Minotaurs run wild in the human world. I think Ignis would probably blame himself if innocent people were hurt in the process.
全員まとめてぶっ飛ばせば済む話じゃないですか。最強の兄貴ならそんなの簡単にできるはずっす。
But doing so may instigate Ignis's urge to rampage. Jomi, if you really think of Ignis as your bro, I need you to cooperate with us. If we leave him alone and he ends up going on a rampage and kills someone, the Ignis you know and love will completely fall apart, and I'm not sure we'll get him back. I tried my best to persuade him, but he seemed unconvinced.
だからそういう問題じゃなくて。
He reached his emotional breaking point, taking his anger. Hey, you need to leave now, bro. Go ahead, Jomi. Go. So he took his anger out on a nearby table.
兄貴が兄貴じゃなくなったら意味がねえっつうか。俺と兄貴の描いた夢が全部無駄になるっつうか。
Val? The second I asked, Jomi cut himself off. Perhaps he realized how irate he had become that he hurried to cover his mouth.
ごめんなさいっす。そのついカッとなって。店主さんに不満ぶつけたって何の意味もねえのに。申し訳ないっす。
Yeah, because you thought I was a little girl. You was just trying to do your big one. But I ain't the one.
ちょっとベスティアで頭冷やしてくるっす。また明日あっちのゲートで。
That's from me. I was flabbergasted. I've never seen Jomi so worked up before, but it came as no surprise given how much he idolized Ignis's strength. I suppose it was an understandable reaction. Still, both Jomi and I cared deeply about Ignis. That much was undeniable, but our opinions for how he should proceed differ so much. If Ignis had overheard our conversation, what would he have said? He would have knocked him on the head. I'm surprised he didn't hear from him. He was still upstairs. What the heck? But that's from Ignis. There I was, laying on my bed without much to do.
ベスティアでただ一人の正気を失う化け物か。
Everything that Minotaur and my uncle said played repeated in my head. The lies, the setup. I wondered how many times I had replayed that scene to myself. But when I gave it some thought, even the dumbest, most knuckle-headed beasts I fought had never gone so cuckoo that they blacked out. I've had my fair share of fights, probably even more than thought, but it never occurred to me until now. Guess I started to realize how much of a total moron I've been this whole time. Oh, Ignis. No, the real question was, oh, you're Ignis.
どういう化け物なんだ。
I felt like a stranger in my own body. At any moment, I could lose my sanity and murder someone, friend or foe. That to me was scarier. I could attack anyone as opposed to someone who killed intentionally. Dots from me. More dots from me. I'm a killer. I have killed other beasts, no less. Even worse, my kin, the firewolves who I tried to protect, and Renoni. She heard it all.
こういうベスティアでの俺の立場ってのが話に上がった時点で避けられると思ってたぜ。けどお前、あんまそういうの気にしねえんだな。一応隣にいる俺は殺し殺されの世界のトップなんだぜ。なんだよ、その微妙な顔。
Well, be that as it may, you've kept true to your creed, which means you've never killed anyone, right? I just don't get how someone can hold any fear or hatred toward you for something you haven't even done. Oh, I did say that. Oh. Seems like I lied to her about my vow never to kill a long, long time ago. It strained me to entertain the thought.
何バカ正直にここへ戻ってきてんだ、俺は。
I say that. All willy-nilly. Let's go home, Ignis.
お前らだけで戻れ。
That's for me. I should have pushed her away back then. No, even before that, before she heard the truth. Renoni's warmth. I cringed to myself thinking that I might have taken her kindness for granted this whole time. I used these two monstrous hands, stained by the blood of who knows who, to touch her. All of the comforting memories that I had of Renoni were being overwritten by fearful ones. What if on that day, at that moment, I had turned into a monster and had pointed my fangs at Renoni? Once I started down this rabbit hole, there was no turning back. Because I had already taken a dear friend's life with my hands. There's no guarantee that I wouldn't do the same to Renoni. And yet,
いつもはいつでおかしいだろ。なんであんな話を聞いた直後に俺なんかの手を取った。
why wouldn't she fear that I would kill her the moment she touched me? Why would she allow this bloodthirsty monster to sit inside of her cafe?
くそ、もう全部が意味わかんねえよ。
My head was ready to burst, packed to the brim with revelations and confusion. As I let my emotions get the better of me once more, the door swung open. I shot up just in time to see me. Oh, it's Canis. I thought it was gonna be me. But it's Canis with his dots.
なんだ、てめえがかぬせ。ノックぐらいしやがれっての。
ここは我の部屋でもある。普段はノックなどしていないだろう。
Y'all roomies. Roommate bros. Dots from Ignis. He ain't like saying that they gotta share a room. I don't even see another bed, so I guess they alternate.
何をそんなにも意気消沈している。いつものお前ならばアルムムたちを片っ端からぶちのめせばいい話だ。好戦的に笑っていただろう。
うるせえ。てめえに俺の何がわかるってんだ。
そうだな。何もわからねえよ。我とお前では生まれも年も立場も何もかもが違う。だが
しかし。
お前が急によそよそしくなったことでマスターが落ち込んでいるのはわかる。
Yeah, Kanas don't like that. He's my hubby from another saga. Yeah, Ignis don't like that either. Dots from me as Ignis though. He hit me right where it hurts. I couldn't even muster up the energy to howl.
仕方ねえだろ。自分がいつ周囲の奴らをぶっ殺すかわからねえ化け物。そんな真実を突きつけられても一番あっさり死にそうなあいつに平然と近づけると思うのか。
イグニス、それは言い訳にならん。彼女の身を案じながら今まさにお前は彼女を傷つけているではないか。わざわざお前のために用意した料理まで手をつけず。
それが
お前の杞憂はわかる。気にせず普段通りに接しろとは言わん。だがせめて彼女に己の本心を打ち明けろ。このままでは彼女は沈み込む一方だぞ。
You should be you should be able to tell Rihanna your true feelings. You just notice certain things.
お前は彼女にあんな顔をさせるためにここに戻ってきたのではあるまい。
Those were Conus's parting words before he left the room. That's for me.
せっかい首なし野郎が説教するためだけに来たのかよ。そんなこと言われなくたって分かってんだっつうの。
Just as I muttered this to myself, that's from me. By this point, I was growing resentful of how my stomach could howl almost as loud as I could, even now. Well, guess I did skip breakfast, even if it's right in front of me. Can't be helped, I suppose. Little bit of dots right there. Some more dots right there.
待てよ。
That's weird. I only skipped one meal. Why am I this hungry? I mean,
ここまで食欲なんてあったか。
when I first met the old man, no matter how exhausted I was, a single meal was enough to satisfy me. But probably back to the cafe. Yep. That's for me. I sat alone in my room without much ado. Going back in the YEOW times there. Carrero was laying comfortably in my arms as I stared at a faint stain on my wall. This feels odd. Normally at this hour, I start getting anxious if I'm not doing something. It was better to close up shop at this point. My only reservation was thinking about a customer who wanted a cup of coffee. But I just can't. I didn't want to think about the leftover food, so I ran back to my room. The one who's hurting the most is supposed to be Ignis, right? At the very least, I wanted to get my body up and moving. So I got to my feet and pulled a book from the shelf, my shelf, that Grandpa had left behind. Maybe I can learn a little bit about Ignis and the beasts. But that's for me. Greek mythology, ancient Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology, biblical mythology. There are so many mythologies involving animal races, it was hard to pin down. Of course, animals aren't like fairies, angels are demons, where their existence is limited to certain texts and regions. In that case, what if I narrow it down to mythologies that include werewolves like Ignis? I thought he was a fire wolf. I guess it's like a subset of a werewolf. Yeah, dots for me in real life. Some more dots. While flipping through the pages, I heard someone rap at the door. Rap on the door. Parappa the rapper! Exclamation point. That force of the knock startled me. I set the book down on my bed, leaving the page open next to Kororo. Come in! Ignis! Oh, I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure it's him. Hopefully. Or probably Canis. I signaled my consent for them to enter as I rushed over to the door. Yeah, I was right. Ignis with his several dots. I knew it was you, Ignis. I thought he had been completely avoiding me, but now here he stood. It was impossible to contain my confusion. At the same time, now that he was here, I forced myself to act as normal as possible, so I began to speak. What's the matter? Did you need anything? Oh, let me guess. Are you hungry? You didn't eat any of your breakfast. I'll fix you some food right now, so stay put. Oh? Ignis took a deep breath and with an uncharacteristically solemn voice, he said, Ignis. That's all a girl ever really needs, guys. Just say I'm sorry. Even if you didn't know what you did wrong, just say I'm sorry. That's it. Some dots for me. It's okay. You don't have to apologize for that. I know you were confused. Besides, you were upset, weren't you? So it's... No. What? His words took me by complete surprise. Wait, what? What do you mean? But that's why we're going tomorrow, to find a solution to this whole fiasco. But not Lupe. Didn't you hear everybody object to the idea of you leaving Enchant? It's out of the question. You've managed to contain your rampage up to this point, so you can... Yeah, it's out of the question. It's out of the question, Ignis.
ってただろうが、俺の根幹にあるものは抑えられねえ。俺にとってのあの本能はあって当たり前のものなんだよ。今となっちゃそれが嫌ってほどにわかる。
That's from me.
俺だって好きでこんなこと言ってんじゃねえ。けどな、振り返ってみりゃ確かにここ最近の俺はおかしいんだよ。
What do you mean funky?
ゆうべアルムムと戦った後、俺は奴らの流した血の匂いで一瞬だが意識が途切れたんだ。
Is that
目の前が真っ赤に染まって意味わかんねえ衝動に襲われた。あの感覚には覚えがあんだよ。あの時ビニトルの縄張りを襲われて正気を失って周りにいる連中全員を皆殺しにした時と同じもんだ。
that's from me.
俺はな、一歩間違えりゃそのままあの場にいたお前をぶっ殺してたかもしれねえんだよ。
Ignis was barking. He bit his lip to contain his fury. Oh, Ignis. I just don't want his fury to get in the way of anything here.
ことをする可能性がわずかでもあんなら、俺は二度とこのアンシャンテに来ねえ。そんだけ伝えに来た。じゃあな。
No, you're not gonna leave. I'm gonna tie you up here in my room. He ended his remark, spinning on his heel to leave my room. What? Oh. Wait! I quickly grabbed his hand, hoping it would stop him. That's from Ignis. The moment I did so, however, Ignis yanked his arm away from me. It was like he was afraid of touching me. No!
離せっつってんだ。
No! In the face of Ignis's petulant resistance, I too resist like a nagging child. Because I know how to resist exactly the same way. Like, no, I don't want it that way. You give me what I want, mister. I understand what you're trying to say, Ignis. In the worst case scenario that your rampage flares up, you don't want to inadvertently hurt any of us, right? That's from Ignis. I think it's understandable to feel that way. If I was in your position, I'd probably have the same inclination. But still, one thing's for sure, I never want to contemplate what Enchant would be without you. I know I was being selfish, but I couldn't let him leave, not after everything. The idea was unthinkable. Hold on, wrong button. No, not that button. Gosh darn it, I forgot what the button was. Not that one. This one? No! Hold on, y'all. Rewind. Oh my gosh, this one? I can't remember which button it was. There we go. Okay. The veins on Ignis's forehead bulged. Oh, I am inserting him in my fantasy, I ain't gonna lie.
かつて縄張りを襲った魔獣たちを、仲間のピニトルを、たちを。
Ignis.
理性をなくして一匹残らず。無意識だとしてもそれを隠して、お前に不殺なんて大嘘吹いてたクソ野郎なんだよ。前にお前は言ってたじゃねえか、俺が不殺だから怖くねえって。だが俺は実際殺してた。だったら
Dots all around. But I never saw it. Y'all, I can't. That's the worst thing to say to someone. Like, okay, you robbed a bank. I'm not going to say that word, but you did some evil things to people. Well, I didn't see it, so it didn't happen. But, okay. He said, what? Right, that makes no sense. He did it. I never saw you do it. I've never seen you kill anyone. Not a soul. So you can't expect me to hate you or to be afraid of you. My voice was quivering. If I were to let loose, a deluge of tears would come streaming down my face. But I desperately held all of it back. After all, I'm the one tormenting Ignis with my personal feelings. Crying now when he was at his most vulnerable would be unfair. I would only be bringing him down while his hands were full from his crisis of self. I'm an ordinary human being. After hearing everything that happened, I can't lie and say that the thought doesn't frighten me a little. But still, the Ignis I know is better than that. He's kind, he's gentle, and he's you. I can still hold your hand like this. Oh, yeah, I mean, you try to sweeten it up, a guy like him may not like it. I don't care. The least you could do is not assume. Until after tomorrow, I don't want to contemplate what happens in the worst case scenario. Can't you see? I want you here, Ignis. Despite my heartfelt, desperate pleas, as I should have expected, Ignis was stubborn and his heart was set. It was tragic. It was painful, but Is that Kuroho speaking? Didn't notice until now. Kuroho was sitting on the bed, staring at the open book in the corner of my eye. Early the next morning, we finalized everything for our Bestia trip.
最近やたら事故や道路の工事が多いとは思ってたけど、あれベスティアが関係してたんだ。本当にあんたまで行くの？いや、例の侵入者とかこっちのが危ないのは分かってるけどさ。
Karia came to see us off, expressing concern with Kuroho safe in his arms. I responded with an awkward smile, donning the blanket that I had received from the young beastling. Right, I'll be okay, promise. I have everyone with me. You be careful too, Karia, just in case those Minotaurs show up in town.
大丈夫。
GPM の人も辺りを巡回してるって言ってたから。
Normally, I would have asked Karia to watch after the cafe for me, but there's a chance the intruder who assaulted me could come back at any time. So this time, Karia was instructed to stay at home. One of Mr. Rendo's trusted subordinates at the not-so-gentle behest of Monsieur agreed to watch after the cafe for me. Also, it was decided that we would leave Kuroro at home with Karia under the guise of a stuffed animal, or so we had planned. All of a sudden, Kuroro shifted his weight, leaning out of Karia's arms and dropping into mine. Kuroro, this felt awfully familiar. Yeah. I tried my best to give him back, but ow, ow, ow! Kuroro dug his claws into my arm, seemingly unwilling to part with me.
一緒に行きたいみたいだね。あ、ベスティアはコロロの故郷なわけだし、機会があるなら行きたいのかもね。
True. And who knows, it may be able to help calm Ignis's rage, because I know he's about to rampage again. Mr. Rendo, who was eavesdropping from the side, interjected.
いいんじゃない？君の危機をイグニスに知らせたって実績もあるし、足手まといにはならないと思うよ。
Thank you. All right, Kuroro. We're going. Karia handed Kuroro over entirely, wrapping both hands around his plump body.
さて、僕も魔獣の毛皮は身につけたし、帝から預かった通信機もバッチリ。忘れ物はない。
Transmitter?
ああ、最近開発に成功した新作だってさ。
Mr. Rendo beamed with pride as he pulled the device out from his pocket, though it looked like a smartphone to me. Mr. Rendo explained how the device enabled communication between realms with GPM as the broadcast point. Also, it took photos. The entire room took interest in this device as Monsieur and the others huddled close to sneak a peek at the palm-sized transmitter. Yeah, I forgot I used that in Kana's chapter, but I know each chapter is not all interconnected. Although it would be tight if it all interconnected at the end. So it's a prototype device made by Mikado to communicate with other worlds. Presently, it is only possible to communicate with Bestia.
やっぱ人間界の技術の方がよっぽど魔法っぽいよね。
まさか異世界との境界を越え会話を可能にしてしまうとは。
まあまだまだ試作段階で音質は悪いし、通信がいきなり途切れる可能性も高いらしいけどね。
お前ら無駄口叩いてねえでさっさと行くぞ。
Right, we ain't supposed to be over here in a group chat or a group talk.
ドローミスも向こうで待機しているようです。あまり待たせるのもよろしくないかと。
Oh, sure. So Ignis grabbed a hold of the doorknob, bracing myself as we entered the gate to Bestia. That's for me. For a while, I stared at him from behind. Without a word, I grabbed onto his shirt. Oh, give it a rest. As if in reference to our conversation from the previous day, I hold him ever so tightly. Ignis, realizing it likely wasn't worth the argument, let out a sigh in defeat. His response was as cold as I expected it to be as he squeezed the doorknob. From there, we were transported back to the unforgiving snowy world altogether.
兄貴に店主さんたちお待ちしてたっす。兄貴の地元ことビニトルの縄張りに改めてご招待するっすよ。
It is the first time we're all going to his hometown.
他の魔獣たちがいないルートを事前に調べてあるからご心配なくっす。
Right, we're counting on you. I was unsure if he had gotten over our last conversation, but Dromi welcomed us at the gate entrance, awkward as ever. Without taking any detours, we proceeded straight down the guided path. Of course, with the conditions and the distance, we took occasional breaks. Soon, I began to recognize my surroundings as we ambled down the path which led us straight to the Firewolf stronghold. We heard an electric pinging sound, one that was foreign to this frozen world, coming from Mr. Rendo's pocket. That sound, of course, was none other than... Click. It would have been a click right then and there. Mikado's volume was cranked all the way up, making it so all of us could hear their playful banter.
でもすごいっすね。本当にベスティアと人間界の間で会話ができちゃったっすよ。
Seriously, guess that proves it. Mikado really is a genius, isn't he? Of course you would hear that. Clear as day.
自慢とテストだけが目的なら本当に切るぞ。
テストも無事に成功したことだし、君たちにちょっとしたお願いがあるのだけど。
お願いですか？
とは言っても大したことじゃないよ。イグニス君についての話を聞くときに、僕にも会話が聞こえるよう通信をつなぎっぱにしておいてほしいのだ。
So keep it on whenever we're talking about Ignis. Okay.
直に話を聞いて、こちらからも彼に関する考察をしたいからね。
意外とまっとうなお願いだね。
だね。てっきり全ビニトルの採血でもしてこいとか言い出すかと思ったよ。
Sounds about right.
とりあえず了解。ただあっちにとって通信なんて未知の塊に見えるだろうし、話してる最中は騒がないでくれよ、ミカド。
Mikado squealed, responding with energetic affirmation as our company set off again down the trail. Down the trail we go. The only thing I could think of was how different Bestia looked from day to night. Back then, the ice blocks were a deep azure, but now they were close to transparent. I don't know what color that is. Hold on. So it's just saying the color name. You want to say different type of names. So let's see. I wonder if that's like a blue type of color. Let me see. Oh, it is. It's a blue type of color. Or cyan and blue. Which I think cyan, so it's like a cross between purple and blue. Or greenish blue. Okay, so it's a cross between cyan and blue is azure. Azure. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But y'all know what I mean. Okay, back to this. The trek was a lengthy workout. Just as my knees began to howl in pain, we finally reached our destination. The men in our group visiting for the first time began inspecting the surrounding igloos and large torches with intrigue.
へえ、ここがビニトルの縄張り。
他の魔獣の縄張りとは違い、炎が灯してあるのだな。
炎の魔獣ってことを考えればそれが普通なんだろうけど、氷だらけのベスティアだとなんだか不思議だよね。ひとまず私個人としては他の縄張りに比べればいくらか暖かいですし、ありがたいです。
Yeah, I gotta keep my number 2 warm. As soon as the firewolves took notice of us, the thin population began to buzz. The discomfort was palpable. That's from Ignis. All of the firewolves caught sight of Ignis, and the fires located beside their ears diminished without warning. Ignis, however, hadn't seemed to mind and instead marched through the snow.
おい、おじき、あんたに聞きてえことがある。
Ignis grabbed the arm of the man who just a couple days ago delivered the earth-shattering news to him. The old man shook his hand, signaling to a worried bystander that everything was fine.
今まで騙してきた罪滅ぼしにはならんが、私が知っていることをすべてお前に打ち明けるとしよう。
Out of respect to Ignis's unwavering resolve, the old man nodded, obliging his resolve. He escorted our group to an empty igloo to begin the discussion. I was just looking, is those vases made of ice? It's beautifully decorated. At first, we introduced ourselves. We took the time to explain to him the circumstances happening in my world. Then Ignis's expression warped as he began to interrogate the man.
まずは再確認だ。俺がガキの頃、縄張りを襲った連中と仲間のビニトルを正気を失った上で皆殺しにしたってのは本当か。
After a long pause, the man nodded out of resignation.
我らビニトルは古くから迫害されているがゆえに、もともと戦える若者が少ない。あの惨劇の最中にできたことといえば、必死に逃げ延びることぐらいだった。そうして我らがどうにか身を潜めている間に、
暴走したイグニスが残った仲間や襲撃者たちを、
皆の断末魔を聞けば、あの場で何が起きていたのか察するのは容易だったよ。
そうか。
Ignis, reminded once again of the atrocities he had committed, uttered in silent confirmation, choosing not to erupt in rage, but to nod instead. However, we all believed this to be the story's end.
それと
That's from me. The man whose face sagged heavily with regret continued to speak, pointing his nose at the ground while recounting his tale.
これはお前自身に問うべきかわからぬのだが、あの時のことを何も覚えてはいないのか。
Ignis shrugged, offering his usual response.
覚えてねえさ、何もな。
Despite his sincerity, that's from the uncle.
そうか。であれば仕方がないな。
ゴジン、何か気になることでもあるのか？
The man stewed in his hesitant demeanor as Canis interjected. Then he let his gaze wander for a moment, all of us hanging on the edge of our seats as he unraveled.
実はその騒動の際にいくらか我らの同胞が数を減らしていてな。
そりゃそうだな。敵味方問わずに俺が大半を殺したってんだな。
いや、そうではないんだ。それ以外にもあの混乱の際に集落の外にかなりの数が散ったようでな。十数人ばかりなのだが、死体も特に見当たらなかったため、おそらく逃げ延びたのだと思っているが。
Ignis was asked if he recalled any of them, though unsurprisingly, Ignis shook his head with an inquisitive gaze.
そうか。まあ、きっとどこかで生き延びていると信じるしかなかろうな。
イグニスに真実を伏せていた理由はやはり自衛の武力として利用するためですか？
ああ、その通りだ。言い訳のしようもない。すまなかった。
He bowed his head deeply. All of us, including Ignis, could do nothing except wait quietly for the silence to pass. That's from the uncle.
あの時のことを話すとすればこの程度だと思うが、他に何か質問はあるだろうか。
はいはい。俺たちイグニスのその暴走本能をなんとかしたくてさ、情報集めの最中なんだけど。君以外にも話を聞けそうな人っているかな？
いや、皆やはり私と同じ程度のことしか。
He stopped in the middle of his sentence as if something caught his eye.
いや、そこのドローミが何か。
What the heck? Jomi was there that day?
そやつもその頃すでに我らと生活を共にし、その騒動を生き延びた一人だ。それにそやつはあの時最もイグニスから近い場所にいたはずだが。
With this unexpected remark, everyone pointed their eyes at Dromi. Well, if you was there that day, then why didn't you open your mouth, fool?
いや、確かにそりゃそうっすけど、でもなんもわかんないっすよ。俺あの時
Of course.
転んでそのまま気絶してただけだし。
This person here, y'all.
ガキの頃からとことん使えねえな。
He's been useless forever. Damn, Ignis. Ah.
存在を全否定されてる気分っす。
As Jomi sat there, flummoxed, Mr. Rindo continued with his own question.
ビニトルの中に過去イグニスと同じような暴走をした個体は、例えば遠い先祖とか 何か心当たりはありませんか？
先祖か。ビニトルの祖となった魔獣は他とは比にならぬ強い力を持っていた。そういった伝承は確かにあるのだが、世代を重ねるごとにそれも中身が薄らいでしまっていてな。具体的な内容は私にもわからんのだ。
The man closed his eyes, conveying to the group that it was time we took our leave. As soon as we exited the stronghold, Mr. Rindo pulled out his transmitter.
ミカド、もう自由に喋っていいぞ。今までの話を聞いてどう思った？
So Mikado picked that thing right apart. Even though I couldn't see Dr. Mikado's face right in front of me, I could see he was frustrated, sitting cross-armed on the call. Everyone else in our group was the same, pondering with arms crossed or rubbed chins. They were all completely preoccupied with the idea of Ignis's rampage instinct.
魔獣としての闘争本能が強いといえばそこまでだな。そもそもの話、暴走するのは本当にイグニスだけなのだろうか。かけらでもそういった噂を聞いたことは。
俺もないっすね。
自称とはいえ情報通のドローミスが言うならば望み薄でしょうね。
あと可能性があるのは、実は気がついてないだけでベニトルっていう種族全体が実はみんな暴走できちゃうとか。
Yeah, let's not all get them on board with the rampage.
暴走本能そのものがビニトルの隠された本性っていうことかい？
いや、だとしたらそれこそ前例の一つや二つ少しは残ってるはずだろ。
ですがある日唐突に種族通しての異端な存在が生まれてくるというのも考えづらいです。
カリアもしかりだが、力というものは血に色濃く影響される。やはり何かしらの要因がビニトルという種族にあるのではないか。
でも本気で心当たりなんかねえぞ。死んだ親父もおふくろも普通のビニトルだったって聞いてるしよ。
That's for me. I sat deep in thought, hoping to grasp the flicker of some great epiphany that would answer and ease all our concerns at once. But sadly, I was no expert. Truthfully, I hadn't the faintest clue what could induce a beast into a rampage. Well, probably threat of loss of life or property. That's what I'm thinking. From my perspective, it felt like a submission to a baser self. Those minotaurs were encountered. Those minotaurs we encountered had certainly given credence to the claim. So I mumbled aloud, "Is there anything in the realm of simple features or qualities that make makes him different? Like what separates Ignis from other beasts? But if I were to guess, if the answer was so easy to begin with, we wouldn't be in our current situation. Something that originally was little more than a blind pitch thrown under my breath.
Huh?
Oh, it actually worked.
いや、
食べることに決まってるじゃない。
What? I wouldn't have thought that. An enormous appetite? Dots all around? More dots all around? Huh? Mr. Rindo and Mikado all had apparently picked up on my idea, synchronized in their declaration.
Huh?
The claim caused Ignis's jaw to drop as he shot a wide-eyed stare back at them.
いや、イグニス、君、アンシャンテで普通に食事してるよね。
おう、そりゃ今更確認しなくても毎日のように見てることじゃねえか。確かに魔獣は本来飯がいらねえもんだけどよ、別に食ったからってどうこうねえだろ。
いや、なんというか、その前提が間違ってるんだよ。
So eating that enormous amount of food causes his rampage, but then wouldn't he have been rampaging before? He wasn't even going to cafe and shot eating all that food when he was a kid. Oh, I don't know.
いいかい、イグニス君。魔獣は食事が不要なんじゃなくて、食べられないのが正解なんだよ。せいぜい氷や水を摂取できれば、それでも上出来だよ。
もしかしてイグニス知らなかったの？当たり前のように食べてるから今まで指摘しなかったけど。
Dots. More dots. Ignis's cry echoed through the tundra so loudly it nearly triggered an avalanche. His reaction was shock, then anger. Not that the distinction saved us from flinching. Beasts can't eat? But how do you explain Ignis's eating enough to feed a whole family in one sitting every single day?
それは矛盾していますね。
一体どういうことなのだ。
I was surprised when Kanas couldn't eat. Well, he can eat, excuse me. So, if Kanas can eat, why couldn't Ignis really eat? Mikado cleared his throat, looking around the room as he continued.
まあ、多種族の体構造なんて知る機会がなければ知らなくて当然だろうさ。一応簡単に説明するとね、君たち人外4名のうち3名、ミシェル君、ニル君、カナス君、この3名は我々の知るところの言葉で言うならば霊的な存在に当たるんだ。
I'm following along.
メカニズムは解明できていないけど、彼らは人間と同じく取り込んだものを自身の活動エネルギーへと変遷できる。けれど、イグニス君、君だけはそれは不可能なはずなんだよ。
No, he loves my food. Let him eat. Why is that?
理由は至極簡単。ベスティアに生息する人外、魔獣。彼らは消化器官を持ち得ないからだ。
So, for this, they all do not possess digestive organs and cannot eat. The most they do is wet their throat with water or ice. Ignis being able to eat like a normal person is an exception to the norm.
僕が今までに検体として見てきたベスティアの魔獣300体余り。そのいずれもが証拠。いもちょうもない生態である君が食事という行為を当然のようにこなしている。
So does he have normal bodily functions? Like, what's going on?
他の魔獣との差異は何か、それを気にするのであれば、これ以上のことはないだろうね。
Soon after he howled, then fell speechless.
帝がイグニスの血液サンプルを欲しがっていたのもそれが理由だったよね。
そうだと思う。敵もくれなかったけど。
Come to think of it, Kororo didn't make a pass at the fish I gave him. And the most Dromi ever had at Enchant was a cup of coffee, or ice cream.
はい、そうっす。
おいこらドローン
He's about to knock him.
なんで言わなかったみたいな願稿送らないでほしいっす。
Yeah, boy, you should have been said something.
俺だって兄貴が飯食ってるのを疑問に思ってたっすよ。でもビニトルの特徴なのかなと思ってたんすもん。
My goodness. Who could have known his eating, which to us seemed normal, had unseen consequences? How do beasts normally generate stamina then? You're saying energy doesn't matter to them, right?
生まれつき一生を生きるのに必要なエネルギーというか
Their entire
み
life.
たいなものを持って生まれるみたいだよ。
Wow.
それを少しずつ消費して寿命を迎えるまで生きていくらしいんだ。
I never knew that.
イグニスといえば食事、そんなイメージがついていただけに驚きを隠せんな。
I know. Food be good, y'all. I'll be face down in that thing too.
しかし、さすがに食事が可能であることが暴走本能につながるとは思えんな。
That's from Ignis. Ignis, on the other hand, had a peculiar reaction to this new revelation, one that was surprising in its own way. His somewhat thorny demeanor from earlier had mostly faded and was now replaced by total shock. All of a sudden, Kororo became unsettled and started to wiggle around in my arms. What's wrong, Kororo? Yeah! Like a rubber bouncing ball, Kororo leapt from my arms. From there, he landed and hopped onto the icy ground. So cute. Kororo began flapping his arms around on the snow, all while calling Ignis's name.
俺が
Dots from Ignis. Can you understand him, Ignis?
わかるわけねえだろ。
Perhaps out of frustration with Ignis's lack of action, Kororo began to flail his arms forcefully. Then he pointed those arms in a certain direction. Someone finally had picked up on the small creature's gestures. It wasn't Ignis, but in fact, Mr. Rendo of all people.
もしかしてこの方向へ僕らを連れて行きたがってるとか。
でもこっちを
Ignis pauses his sentence, shifting his eyes over to Dromi with a strange look of deep concern. What's over there?
いや、俺の故郷つか、ティグリスの縄張りだった場所の近くだ。
Oh, the werecats. I'm a smaller version of that, y'all. where it used to... Oh, that's right. Jomi's friends and family had also been annihilated by beasts. Sorry, I didn't mean to remind you of bad memories.
いいんすよ。もうずいぶん昔のことっすし、今の俺には兄貴たちがいるっす。あそこ海が近いっすから、コロロ急に泳ぎたくなっちゃったんじゃないっすかね。
That's from Kuroro. Kuroro don't like Jomi anyways. He was like, forget you, I want to go where I want to go.
調査も行き詰まってることだし、気晴らしぐらいさせてあげようか。
Shake a flipper.
じゃあ俺はそのもっとビニトルの皆さんに兄貴の話を聞いてくるっすね。
Okay, thank you. I can only imagine how painful it was to return to the ruins of your fallen kin. Jomi ran back to the firewolf stronghold with his eyes pointed at the snowy boulders. Jomi.
上手な。あいつ自身が気にすんなっつったんだ。
Yes, you're right. I wouldn't want to show him any disrespect. I picked Kuroro up and plowed my feet through the plushy snow towards the sea to where Kuroro was inexplicably drawn. Close to shore, the smell of sea salt hit my nose. Kuroro leapt toward the crashing waves. With that momentum, he dove into the ocean.
ああしてるとほんと普通のアザラシにしか見えないよね。
SNS 映えしそうですが、また林道に怒られてしまうので自重しておきます。
It was all smiles on that windy beach as Kuroro splashed playfully in the shallow water.
たく、揃いも揃ってゆるい顔しやがって、ここまでの緊張感が台無しじゃねえか。
In the end, nothing could ever take the wind out of Kuroro's sails. Then, suddenly, dots from both of us. I realized Ignis and I stood side by side, engaging in normal conversation at last. It then occurred to Ignis shortly after he immediately reacted by averting his gaze. So I maintain the space or get closer to him. Oh, I want to get closer to him, but I also want to maintain the space, but get closer to him. Get closer. I missed the closeness that he and I shared once before. I took an inconspicuous step closer to him. That's from Ignis. You know you like that, Ignis. By the looks of things, Ignis didn't exactly try to escape from me, but he still pursed his lip awkwardly. It was like we were thrust back in time, an awkward portrait of our early days. It felt rather lonely. That's from me. That's from Ignis. After our conversation wafted into the ocean, wafted. After it wafted into the ocean air, he and I stared blankly at the water. Hey, Ignis. Forgive me if saying this oversteps some kind of boundary, but after earlier, something about it made me happy. Beasts technically don't ever eat because they don't have to, right? If you were one of the beasts that couldn't eat, I would have never seen the look on your face after eating a big meal. That big goofy smile. That's me, Renoni. I know that you're suffering right now, but I still want to spend time with you over at Enchant if you would like to visit. I want to feed you whatever meal you want every day of my life. So after all that, you still want to feed the guy. Okay, you're gonna rampage on my face, on your face in the game, not in my real life. He said every day. Yeah. Yes, I don't know how to say this, but that's how much dots from Ignis. Dots all around. More dots all around. How much wait, what was I trying to say? No, my baby! Karoro thrashed at the water violently, which splashed upward and hit Ignis in the face. Dots in his eyes. More dots. More dots from Ignis this time. Dots from me this time. Water driplets trickled from the bridge of his nose to the tip until it dripped down. Ignis held this pose quietly, letting the curtain of water on his face fall slowly to the ground. Unable to contain himself, Ignis nearly popped a vein from trying to roar at Karoro. Food. Oh, he wants some food now? You are hungry, little Karoro.
Huh?
Karoro poked his head out of the water to say something unusually. The others who stood watching in the distance gathered towards us, curious about what was going on. That's from Karoro. That's cute. Karoro floated joyfully in the water, pointing his big eyes at us. Said Karoro before diving once more into the water and swimming away. Hopefully he'll be back. Huh? Karoro, wait! Where are you going? The depths obscured Karoro's shadow and suddenly he was gone. We have to hurry and chase him.
どうやら東の方向へと向かったようだが、見失う前に保護せねば。
おい、箱入り、てめえの術でコロロの後を追えるか?
Oh, number 2.
どうした?何か問題があるのならば、無理にとは言わんが。
あ、いえ、まだそれほど離れていないでしょうし、可能かと。すぐに実行します。
2 soared into the air, casting the same detection spell he had previously used to locate the Pacus.
たく、コロロのやつ、仮にもここはアルムムがいた場所だってのに、怖いもの知らずにも程があんな。
Ignis mumbled to himself, presumably out of concern for Karoro. That's when...
イグニスと餌？食べるはともかく餌なんて。コロロ、いつそんな単語を覚えたんだろう。
さあ、僕は心当たりないけど、テレビとかそれか街中で聞いたとかかな。
それもそっか。けどなんで全然関係ないこのタイミングで。
From a short distance, Messire Mr. Rindo watched the situation with great curiosity. Thanks to number 2's spell, we were able to track Karoro's location. The former angel glided above us, guiding us through the path on our pursuit. but at the end of our long run, we hit a dead end. Our path blocked by a gigantic icy boulder. It seemed that the only way we could progress any further would be to dive underwater. 2, noticing our predicament, landed on the ground, albeit while stumbling.
対象の移動停止を確認しました。
I kind of wanted to see him stumble. Why? Y'all could have added that.
どうやらコロロはこの先にある空間にて待機しているようです。
So I'm guessing he probably wants Ignis to eat so he can break this boulder. But he should be able to break it because he's a fire wolf, so put some fire on that thing.
いる。お疲れ様。でもその様子を見る限り、やっぱりベスティアで彼女を探した時の消耗がまだ回復してなかったんだね。
はい。
Huh? Really? It suddenly became evident in me. I noticed how the color had been draining from Two's face.
お前な、そういうことは早く言えよ。だったらこっちも無茶させねえっつうの。
ですが、私以外のものではコロロを追うことができなかったのは事実でしょう。
Yeah, that's just about right.
ただ、申し訳ありませんが、これ以降私は秘書以外でお役に立てないかと。
十分だよ、いる。そのままゆっくり休んで。
この程度の行き止まりも我らには何の障害にもならぬ。
In one swift movement, Canis unsheathed his blade, raised it into the air, and shattered the huge block of ice. Oh, it's Canis, my other scenario hubby. A path opened before us, but its entrance was damp and dimly lit. Is this an ice cave?
ティグリスの縄張り近くにこんなもんがあったのか。
Ignis, it seemed, shared in my wonder at such a secluded location. I wonder why Karoro swam all the way here.
気まぐれだな。とっ捕まえて説教だな。
Hopefully he didn't go into the Minotaur stronghold here. I just have a bad feeling. As soon as we set foot inside, my skin clenched as the stone walls and ground insulated a punishing chill. I took a deep breath, hoping my resolve would warm me in the freezing depths. Soon we arrived at an opening. The narrow path emptied into a wide hall. We can stand side by side with room to play. It wasn't exactly a cave, but rather a...
氷で作られた祠みてえだな。
I thought I might have faintly recognized the scene from a historical documentary. Then, in the pool of water situated at the center of the shrine was... Karoro! Karoro poking his head out enthusiastically. Ah, Karoro, we were worried about you. I hold my arms out wide for him to come. Normally, whenever I posed like this, Karoro would cry out loudly and leap into my arms, but this time... That's for Karoro? What the heck? Karoro? For some reason, he didn't budge. Instead, Karoro began to swim toward the rear of the shrine. He emerged from the water and poked a wall with his horn as if to direct our attention to this spot. His tiny horn was pointed at a small engraving etched onto the wall. This looking like Wind Waker.
いや、絵だけじゃないね。GPM のデータベースで見かけたベスティアの古代文字も薄く刻まれてる。
Kuroro turned around, seeing that we had taken notice of the hieroglyphics. Question mark for me?
いきなりなんだ
Kuroro had the mural to his back. Then he began to speak in a manner those of us who normally interacted with him at Enchant had never heard before. Yeah, that's from all of us. The lively mood among our expedition party was replaced by solemn, focused attention. We stood fully entranced by the little creature as if it were about to recite a lengthy tale. So began the little creature. He said to the group as he waddled alongside the mural, narrating it. That's from me. All of us jerked in reaction to hearing him speak so clearly. Kuroro, unfazed, continued. Some more dots all around. As if to signal the end of his story, Kuroro cried out as he usually did. Kuroro, what's gotten into you all of a sudden? He seems different somehow, as if coming here awoke something inside of him. Also, are these werecats like Jomi? On a whim, I glance once more at the mural, where I begin to parse various beasts and men illustrated in all manners of situations. Each depiction, I noticed, had wolves donned in flames, connecting with each one. Or just connecting each one.
もしやコロロはこの壁画に描かれている内容に沿い関連性のある単語を発しているのでは？
確かにそんな様子だったね。絵に合わせてわざわざ移動してたし。
随分と古い祠だ。イグニス、何か心当たりは？
知らねえよ。壁画の意味もさっぱりわかんねえ。古代文字も薄すぎてよく見えねえし。どっかのガキが刻んだただの落書きじゃねえの。
I think the pictures look too purposeful for that to be the case.
あのさ、コロロがさっき発した単語、ちょっと俺たちの喋り方に寄せて順に言い直してみない？
Now there's the Demon King for you.
なんでわざわざんなこと？
いや、君との関連性がなんか気になって、ものは試しってことで頼むよ。
そ そこまで言うなら別にいいけどよ。
But how should we rephrase it? I replayed Kororo's presentation in my head. If I could summon what exactly Kororo said, I could imitate the words for everyone. Far past, Bestia, one day human came.
シンプルだよね。昔のベスティアって意味だ。次は
ある日人間が来た。大昔人間がこのベスティアに訪れたことがあるということか。
そうそう、そんな感じでどんどんちゃんと文章になるように訳してみよう。イル、悪いけどコロロの発言を全部遡ってくれる？
You hate to be a bother, but let me bother you.
はい、了解しました。記憶を再生しますね。
Two immediately obliged Monsieur's request. He began to repeat Kororo's exact words effortlessly. So we just repeating this again. Far past Bestia, one day human came, but Bestia already, fire wolf there, wolf sheep, wolf human, wake up and food, lots, eat, wolf are Vinitriu, tigrish, conish, ignis, wolf, food, eat, become. If we do what we did earlier to interpret Kororo's meaning,
はるか昔のベスティアに人間が訪れた。
元のことかな。ならベスティアにはもともと炎の狼が存在し眠っていた。
眠っていた狼は人間が来たことにより目を覚ました。そして餌をたくさん食した。
狼がビニトル、ティグリスは監視。
Ignis is a wolf. When he eats, these qualities are enhanced. Is that right?
だいたいそんな感じだと思う。
炎の狼とは壁画に書かれているこの狼のことで間違いないだろうな。
最初はいかにも伝承って感じな話だったけど、なんで途中から餌の話になんだ？ベスティアに来た人間がその狼にご親切に飯を作ってやったってか？
その詳細はわかんないけど、やっぱりこの狼、呼び方といい共通点といい、もしかしてイグニスの先祖にあたる魔獣なんじゃないの
？Oh, that's right. The fact it refers to what appear to be ancient firewolves aligns with Ignis perfectly. It even mentions them eating.
現にコロロは狼はビニトルとはっきり告げている。
Mr. Rendo let out a sigh in contemplation and placed his hand beneath his chin.
人間がイグニスの先祖に食事を与えてあげたから 子孫のビニトルも食事が可能になったってこと？
適当に言ったんだが、マジか。
しかしその先から急に話が通らなくなってしまっているな。
イグニスが狼となるって言われても、彼はすでにもともとビニトルだし。その上ティグリスが監視って。
It watches as in watches over someone. Perhaps it referred to a werecat companion. Maybe Dromi knows something since he's a werecat. And as soon as I said that, cold! Suddenly a freezing cold drop of water splashed onto my forehead. Whoa, that scared me. I suspected some of the flames radiating from Ignis's body melted the ice on the ceiling. I tested my hypothesis by glancing upward, and when I did... That's from me. Ah, look! There's a merle up there too! As my voice bounced around the stony cave, everyone looked up in unison. What we saw was a giant fire wolf, in other words, Ignis's ancestors. It was a majestic, breathtaking depiction. It appeared to be swallowing what looked like other beasts and humans, one after the other. Was it? We lowered our heads and looked around. All of a sudden, Messier's face, which seemed hopeful and cheery just a moment ago, became stern.
あのさ、イグニス。そういえばビニトルは昔からあらゆる魔獣から迫害され、数を減らしちゃったんだよね。
ああ、妙竹林な伝承のせいでな。それがどうした？
いや、よく考えたらそれっておかしくない。君以外のビニトルも能力から見ればそれなりに強力な魔獣なはずだ。つまり昔は数だって多かったはずだね。ならどうして？まるで檻のような氷に閉ざされたあんな辺境へと追いやられていたのか。それはもしかして。
そりゃ決まってるじゃないすか。
Who are you? Is it Unk?
古の魔獣たちがこの世界を守るためにビニトルを閉じ込めたからっすよ。俺たちティグリスはその檻の監視役として奴らの隣人になったんす。
What? Right. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the entrance, an ominous interruption dotted by footsteps. So that's why Kurobo don't like Dromi. He knows his real purpose. Kurobo stood in front of the Merle, growling at the figure in the dark as if to ward them away. There was only one person at whom I had ever known Kurobo to growl like that. The shadow appeared, opening his arms in a wide and exaggerated manner as if to welcome us.
What
the heck?
俺たちティグリスが数千年守り続け、その割にはあっさり忘れちまった最悪の歴史を示す誇られた。
He raised his voice, beaming with what appeared to be pride. What happened? Weren't you back at the Firewolf stronghold? Why is he looking like that? I hope he's not out here killing folk, y'all. Like, what is going on? What? Jomi said as much with a wide but disconcerting smile. Something about him unsettled me, something I couldn't place. But I said as much to him bluntly. You're scaring me. The werecat stared back at Kuroro, who continued to growl, and he let out a heavy sigh.
にしても残念っす。本当なら一世一代の大舞台で兄貴に全てを話すつもりだったのに、まさか。俺がここで計画についてつぶやいてる時、コロロがここに居合わせてたとはね。さて、群れとはぐれた原因ってここに迷い込んだからです。
Ignis stepped forward as if in Kuroro's defense, despite still processing the big reveal.
いい加減にしろドローン。てめえさっきから何を意味わかんねえことばっかほざいてやがる。計画ってのは何のことだ。それにさっきのこの世界を守るために魔獣たちが俺らビニトルをこの辺境に閉じ込めたってのは。
え？そのまんまの意味っすよ。
Jomi offered a casual rebuttal as if it was any other conversation.
要はアルムムたちが今行おうとしてることと同じっす。まあくだらねえ雑魚魔獣っすけど。真実を知った奴らは奴らなりにこのベスティアを守ろうとしてたってことっすね。
There's just a lot going on, y'all.
イグニスという未来の大災厄から。
So Jomi wasn't even his friend. He was just a keeper this whole time. A minder. Like we in North Korea or something. What the heck?
だからその意味がわかんねえっつってんだ、このアホトラ。下手な役者気取りなんぞしねえでシンプルに質問に答えやがれ。
って言われても、皆さんが訳したこととその天井の壁画に描かれていることが全ての真実っすよ。
So why didn't you say anything beforehand? Normally, Jomi would shrink or run at the sound of Ignis's threats, but he didn't bat an eyelash, nor did he flinch as Ignis screamed in anger. He was no longer the coward hiding behind Ignis, relying upon him for strength.
とはいえ、他ならぬ尊敬する兄貴からのご要望、お望み通りシンプルにお答えするっす。いいっすか？天井に描かれているビニトルの先祖、その魔獣はかつてこのベスティアであらゆる魔獣と人間をほふり、世界を破滅寸前まで追いやった化け物なんすよ。
I just don't like the way he's looking, y'all. It's over here looking like school days. Like, So you got dash symbols now. Not even dots. We got dashes. That was...
これでわかっただろ。イグニス、てめえはな、ベスティアでただ一人の魔獣でもなんでもねえ化け物なんだよ。
Ignis recalled the fated conversation.
まさか イグニスの暴走本能って。
そう、その通り。この化け物の子孫ゆえの本能っす。
So it's not because he eats a lot, it's because he inherited the rampage.
とはいえ、ビニトルの中でも特に色濃く化け物の血を継いでいる兄貴にしか起こらないことっすけど。
That's from Ignis, question mark, exclamation mark, point.
ドロミー、その口ぶりからしてお前はイグニスの暴走本能について気がついていたのか。
Yeah, that fool knew.
もちろんっす。兄貴のことならなんでも把握してるっすよ。過去兄貴が行った大虐殺の時も実はバッチリ見てたっす。
His confession rang as words of betrayal to Ignis.
全部知ってて黙ってやがったのか。
Why? For what purpose?
別に教えてもいいっすけど、それよりいいんすか？ビニトルたちを孤立させちゃって。
That's crazy. I just never would have figured, y'all. Dromi, the Joe Meister, man.
コロロの仲間探しの時の騒動みたい。あそこにいい狩り場があるって俺に
Oh my
ア
gosh.
ルムムたちにまた情報を流しちゃったっすよ。
Oh my gosh, y'all. Now it's gonna have me looking at Mikado sideways too with the GPM. Like, Mr. Rendo, we gotta watch all side people. Everybody that's like the bestie, yeah, we side-eyeing you. Show me. No, he said as much with a chuckle. That's an exclamation points from Ignis. Ignis's face dropped and he immediately sprinted towards the shrine's entrance. Ignis, wait!
追いかけるよ。イグニスを一人にしちゃダメだ。
おっと、お客さんが舞台に上がるのはマナー違反っす。
Dromi lowered his shoulders as if on cue. Jeez Louise. Oh my gosh. The crazed Minotaurs are upon us. Then a deranged band of Minotaurs came rushing into the cave.
コロロを抱えて下がれ。
いや、それよりも一層逃げてくれた方がいいかもね。ここは君たちが暴れるには狭すぎる。下手したら彼女ごと巻き添えだ。
どうかいる。弱って戦えない君もやばい。彼女と一緒にアルム
Yeah, let's fly out of this thing.
はい、その程度でしたら。マスター、急いでコロロを。
Let's go, y'all. This is crazy. Sure. As soon as I wrapped Kororo in my arms, two carried me in turn. Just as a Minotaur charged at us from behind, two kicked at the ground. He flew, nearly scraping the ceiling on the way out so we could escape from the cave. And I'm already feeling like this is the end of the chapter. Okay, it's not. Whew. But I already know it's close. Switching it up. Dots from here. Some more dots.
さーて、じゃ常連さんたちが立ち回ってる間に俺もおいとまするっすかね。
How you gonna say that? That's my word, skedaddle.
楽しみだな。
Oh my gosh. He has to have some beef. Like, he must have killed the werewolf. Something must have happened. I can't wait to see what happens.
もうすぐっす。
This is really crazy, y'all. I did not expect this. With that crazed look in his face. What in the heck? Back to Ignis. Back to reality. I dashed towards the stronghold, noticing the setting sun plunging Bestia into darkness. I alone illuminated the darkness as I cut through the frigid air, running as fast as my legs would take me. The flames covering my body flared wildly, mirroring the chaos that stormed inside me. The fire wolves had suffered enough, especially at my hands, and I couldn't let their numbers dwindle anymore. I've been lied to my entire life. I was feared, I was used. It all felt heavy on my shoulders, for sure. I felt betrayed, but even so... Oops. I was getting into it, y'all. Hold on, let me rewind. I was getting into it. Even so, they were still my kin, the last of my people. This time, I would protect them. This time, I would save their lives. All my hopes and convictions. No! What the y'all! Can we not do this to me? Like, for real? Like, this is supposed... Okay. Alright. Alright. Let's go. Alright. I just gotta collect myself because this is not this. Alright. Disintegrated in my palm. Dots from me. My eyes were fixated on the scene, a familiar sight I had long since buried. Huts and bodies charred as the firewolf torches waned in the distance. Blood and soot soaked the snow. Not a single firewolf was spared. The man I called uncle all these years tumbled on the ground, disposed of, forgotten. What I saw there instead were... these freaking... The Minotaurs hacking at their opponents relentlessly, showing no mercy to whomever stood in their way. Their eyes, they were clouded, disgusting. As soon as they noticed my presence, their eyes bulged open. Dots, more dots. My vision went red. My heart was ready to burst from my chest. Searing heat covered my body, a sensation that radiated from my body's core. If I were to give into this heat, it's over. It's over. There could only be one outcome. That's for me. We about to start, y'all. In the future, violence doesn't have to be an answer. I want to believe in a future where we live in peace. Yes, think of me. Think of me. But it was useless. I was submitting to my base self. Dots, more dots. Ah, yes, I remember now. Each time that I lost my sanity or came close to doing so, it involved the smell of blood. No, an appetizing aroma filled my nostrils, consumed my waking thought. My rampage instinct lay dormant inside me, crying out its cravings. It commanded me, it wanted me to feed. upon every living being in sight. Back to the cave, the ice cave. Two managed to dodge the Minotaur's swinging arms one after the other. We flew out of the cave as I hugged Kororo tighter against me, and we were lifted into the cold Bestian sky.
なんとか逃げ切れましたか。
I hope everyone's okay though. Just as Two squinted his eyes, we heard flames erupt in the distance. To neither of our surprise, we glanced over to the direction of the sound. Dots. Right beneath us, the firewolf stronghold glowed a faint shade of crimson. Don't tell me. Was it?
他の魔獣に襲撃を受けたようですね。おそらくイグニスもあの場にいるのでしょう。
Two, I ain't gonna lie. Two over here looking like Lucifer. I ain't gonna lie. Looking straight like a fallen angel. Two, we have to go there too. Too many twos.
申し訳ありませんが、その願いは聞き入れられません。
See, I knew it. He was like, hey, self-preservation. I ain't that close to Ignis.
今の私にあなたを護衛できる能力は残っていません。このままアンシャンテのゲートに避難します。
Oh, I'm not gonna like that when I get to your storyline too. But Ignis.
大丈夫です。彼の実力ならば敗北することはありえないでしょう。ですから。
What? Two's eyes shot open. We felt an intense ray of heat, one that could normally occur in such a frozen world coming from below. One that couldn't normally occur. But, you know, I'm just reading y'all. Two let out a sharp gasp, shifting his weight mid-flight to avoid it. But his trembling wings were slow to react. A giant storm of flames surrounded us. Oh my gosh. Two's wings were exposed and burnt by the raging flames exploding below. I heard Two cry out in agony before my vision became suddenly blurry. We dropped into the flaming maelstrom, down into the firewolf stronghold. You better not end it here. It's gonna end here. Dots. More dots. Okay, it didn't end here. A small distance away, Kororo laid there, passed out. We fell from quite a height, but somehow both Kororo and I survived the fall. Luckily, neither of us were seriously hurt. Dots from Two. I spotted Two laying unconscious beside me. It seemed as though his quick reaction was more than enough to spare us our lives, for which I felt immense gratitude.
申し訳ありません。お怪我はありませんか?
We're okay, Two. I'm alright, but Two, you're...
この程度なら人間界に戻れば回復します。それよりもまずは状況の把握を。
At Two's prompting, I surveyed around us. Judging by our immediate surroundings, we landed within the Firewolf stronghold. However, the horror began to set in as I recognized no part of the secluded, humble stronghold in the chaos. It was a massacre. A force that left no stone unturned, all-consuming and deadly. a flaming tempest that ate all in its path. I watched as red sparks bounced off of armor, swallowed by snow. The white wonderland was painted with colors of a grisly, brutal nature. A hot wind fanned by the flames carried with them a strong stench of iron, the scent of which wafted from the trampled corpses lining the snow. At the center of it all was... Damn. Well then. That's from Ignis. The curt, heavy-handed, but most of all, kind Ignis. He and his aura shone a brilliant red. It was as if he was bathed in the blood of his foes, but how could that be? Relative to his ghastly appearance, there weren't too many corpses. What happened to all the others? Where did the blood come from? Dots. Dots. More dots. Little by little, I urged my trembling self onward to look further up. The answer was right there. Some more dots. His mouth, thick vicious trails of blood dripped from the corners of his lips. When I looked closer, it looked as though he bit onto something into his mouth, and after chewing a couple times, he gulped it down without having to think. My instincts told me exactly what I was looking at. Choked with fear, I could hardly muster a loud scream, but he managed to pick up on what little sound I did make. That's from Ignis. After a subtle y'all gonna have to correct me. I know y'all gonna get to this part. After subtle twitching his nose as if in reaction to my scent. Hold on, y'all. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm almost there. Hold on. Cause I gotta look this word up. Hold on, y'all. So subtly, excuse me. I got it, y'all. I know how to pronounce my words. After subtly twitching his nose as if in reaction to my scent. So we got dash marks again. His dreamy eyes darted over to me, a sharp, focused glance. He eyed me with a predatory gaze, like I was a delicious meal. Just as Ignis took a step forward, readying to lunge at me, the surrounding snow around him melted and evaporated as if devoured by him. I gasped out of panic and his body burst into flame.
Master, 下がって!
Two stepped in front of me, but he had already used up all of his strength and was at his body's limit. Dots from Ignis. Dots from 2. He stood in front of the menacing wolf who had marched up to us without fear. The wolf laughed savagely. He dug his claws into his defenseless prey. No, that better not have been 2. Dots. Splashes of red dispersed through the air. 2's slender body was shredded and eviscerated by the frightening inferno. Excuse me, y'all. Hold on. His angelic body dropped face down into his own pool of blood. Dots from 2. Blood soaked his body and drenched the clothing around his inanimate self. He fell atop the crumpled remains of his black and white feathers. I'll never forgive you for this, Ignis. That's from Ignis. There was no hint of color or familiar in Ignis's eyes as the wolf looked coldly at his comrade. Some more dots. Some more dots. I couldn't even scream. Right, but I know. I'm thinking of the memories too. Alas, I was falling apart. I was ready to collapse. Reality was too intense to face. I wanted nothing more than to cook for us. My teeny tiny dream, the small fantasy I had for the two of us. Some more dots. Ignis reached his hand over two who laid there collapsed in his blood. Oh my gosh, this is really taking, I don't know, y'all. Ignis wrapped his fingers around the angel's neck, lifting him up with ease. Some more dash symbols. Then he opened his mouth wide. He slowly pulled Two's unconscious body towards his gaping maw. It was easy to predict what he was going to do next. Some more dots. No. Please, don't do this. Stop! Don't throw away who you are. Don't abandon your dream. Just before Ignis sank his fangs into Two's flesh, he tossed the angel aside. I felt compelled to protect Two, and I stood before Ignis with my arms outstretched. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Come back, Ignis. This is not you. This isn't why you trained your entire life, is it? I cried out at Ignis, trying to appeal to him with the first words that came to mind. But all my pleading could accomplish was redirecting the firewolf's ire toward me instead. Interrupted by a severe throbbing pain, Ignis sank his razor-sharp fangs into my arm, but I realized it a moment too late as my own blood shattered onto his face. Dots from me, because I'm dead. But I know it's the arm, but it could have hit an artery too. Adrenaline numbed the pain, but my head spun. The only thing rooting me to my current predicament was the dreadful sound of my flesh being ripped apart. Ignis, stop. My pleading voice never reached him. Ignis only sipped and licked the blood trickling down my arm, and yeah, this is like a bad throwback to the first chapter when I got injured and then he licked my hand, and then now he's over here feeding on me like, golly. He ripped a piece of flesh off of me. Yeah, this. Yeah, go ahead and end. Just end. I can't. Yeah, go back to the ice cat. Just go back to the. Y'all can end this chapter. Cause wow, this is really not what I was expecting. But after neutralizing the Minotaurs, we hurried toward the Firewolf stronghold. What Messire and the rest of the party witnessed was far-reaching patches of blood, corpses thrown into haphazard piles, the relentless flames surrounding them, and some more dash marks. Those dashes, man. 2 who lied on the snow unconscious. His wings were torn and bald, and his atrocious injuries dyed his hair and clothing in blood. That's from Ignis. And then me screaming that. Ah! To the side, we saw him bite into Renoni's arm, ripping off her flesh. It was one of our fellow enchant regulars, our friend, or so we thought. Ignis, our once thought to be ally, wiped the splattered blood off his face, shooting a fearless glance in our direction. As we stood there stunned, the quickest to react to the tragic scene was Canis. Yay, my scenario hubby from the last chapter. Well, not the last chapter, but the first person I did. The swing of Canis's mighty sword blew Ignis back with the cannon's force. Under normal circumstances, the sheer power of Canis's attack would have torn Ignis' torso in half, but Ignis summoned a wall of flames to dull the impact of the knight's incoming strike, sparing himself from harm. Ignis moved purely on instinct. Whew, Ignis, yo! He twitched, realizing the path to his prey was obstructed, and showed his fangs. He's acting really on just pure Ignis right now. Not cafe Ignis, just pure Bestian Ignis. Ignis kicked at the ground, lunging at a speed too fast for the naked eye. And Renoni, freed from Ignis's grasp, fell to her knees in excruciating pain. Blood begins to gush from her wounds, which she clamps with her free hand. The blood shows no sign of stopping. Canis and Ignis, meanwhile, were locked in a lightning-quick exchange of blows no human could see. Monsieur and Rindo sprinted over to the 2 wounded members, hastily tending to their injuries. They eyed each other and rushed in. Rindo went to Renoni and Monsieur went to 2. They first cast a simple barrier to shield them from any impact from the duel. Monsieur clutched 2's blood-soaked body in his arms and cried out his name. It's just a little weird, a demon helping an angel. That's how I know number 2 is a fallen angel. But I'll just joshing y'all. No soft-spoken words escaped the angel's lips, and his breaths began to slow. Meanwhile, no small amount of blood began to pour down from Renoni's slender arm. Renoni was succumbing to traumatic shock from the punishing magnitude of pain, and her medic, Rindo, whose brow began to sweat as the pressure mounted, hesitated, asking her to remain calm. Rindo fell back onto a practical solution, eyeing and ripping his handkerchief from his person to fashion a makeshift clotter. Witnessing this, Monsieur am a destroyer. I do not possess the power to ease Renoni and Two's pains. He gently stashed away his regret and set Two upon the cold ground delicately. Then he switched gears, honing in on the sole mission to stop Ignis. He raised his hand. Try as he might, Canis' blade could not penetrate either of Ignis' blazing fists.
早い。
Although Canis' footwork was deftly tested by the pace of Ignis' heightened beastly movements, Canis blocked each of his foes' punches with ease, making the tense duel an even one. In the midst of all of this,
後方にジャンプ全力で。
心得た。
he did as instructed and leapt back. Left open, Ignis reacted by immediately racing toward Canis, but
悪いけど潰せ。
once Messire barked out his command, a spell was cast and a large shadow swelled over Ignis' head. The shadow belonged to a giant iceberg which soon was flung at an alarming velocity, ready to crush the body of its target upon impact. However, with the power of his attuned reflexes, Ignis ignited the flames covering his body moments before impact. Is he back to normal? It doesn't look like it. So the flames burned at a temperature so intense the whole icy meteor nearly melted, dispersing it into shattered chunks. But nevertheless, the immense impact and blast from the heavy ball of ice was felt. At last, Ignis' eyes returned to normal, indicating he had returned. Whew. So now we at Ignis' perspective. Dots. More dots. Several more dots. It was loud. My head was being knocked around by some deafening explosion. Sharp bits of icicle floated down, tickling my skin. The red in my vision went away, reverting everything back to normal. I winced at a massive surge of shame. It occurred to me that I had no idea where I'd been in the last couple hours. What was I doing? Where was I? Just as my vision cleared up and focus returned,
正気に戻ったか、イグニス。
Canis was the first to pop into vision.
お前なんで俺に剣を向けて。
My breath left me as tall flames burned behind Canis, and the smell of smoke stung my nose. I refused to believe it. My throat tensed up. I couldn't speak. I looked around. Bodies of my kin and the corpses of the Minotaurs were stacked atop each other. Right in front of me, the tip of Caunus' sword was pointed, shaky and cautious. Monsieur and Rendo seemed guarded too, laying next to Monsieur's feet. I saw two, mangled and torn up, covered in blood, and the one Rendo held in his arms was Renoni. Eek! Renoni clenched the patched up spot on her arm and her face filled with terror as soon as our eyes met. I reflexively gulped down something that was still in my mouth. Ooh, some more dots. Several more dots. Don't tell me you still got my flesh in your mouth, boy. Why did it smell and taste of iron? This guy.
うすうすわかってるくせに現実逃避は良くないっすよ兄貴。
A pair of feet tap dance lightly around the massacred ground, approaching me.
にしてもいやー最高の光景っすね。
Jomi arrived, and unlike how Renoni looked at me fearfully,
これこそが本当の戦い。これこそが本当の魔獣のあるべき姿。 やっぱりあの日あの時見た光景と俺の目に狂いはなかった。
Jomi's eyes glowed with intense awe, dumbstruck as the flames towered behind my bloody body. I watched Jomi for a minute, then tossed him a throwaway question. He's about to probably go rampage again, y'all. Oh, I didn't think he was behind the Minotaurs too from the human world. Oh, dang, yeah.
ベスティアに戻るために魔獣の襲撃を受けて大量の血が流れたの。何もかもがお前が裏で仕組んだもんで、今ここで俺を暴走させるために。
イエス大正解。さすがは兄貴感が鋭いっすね。 でも邪魔だとばかり思ってた人間がこんなとこで役に立つとは。魔獣の血の匂いを嗅いだり浴びるだけじゃ計画がもっと長引いてたっすから。
Hearing the word blood, Renoni's body jolted.
それよりも話が脱線してるっすよ。そろそろ現実を直視した方がいいっす。いいっすか兄貴。あんたはお優しい常連仲間をあんな風にズタボロにした挙句、襲ってきた他の魔獣どもやそこの女の肉をその牙で引きちぎって、それがもう美味しそうに。
I'll never look at him the same. It's like I go back through the main story to unlock the other people, and he's there. Now I'm just gonna be like Kuroro, like Kuroro. He accused Ignis with a deranged smile. How his ridiculous claim, it seemed, was the answer we were looking for all along. A beast that eats. Stashed by the threatening veil of my ability to rampage was another, more terrifying ability which I alone had. After all, the Minotaurs had to drug themselves just to make an attempt on my life. The truth was, no one knew why the Firewolves disappeared all those years ago, but the cost of learning all of this was just too great. Fueled by nothing more than rage, I swung my fists at Dromi, but despite how many swipes I took at Dromi, he evaded each blow by a hair. But they weren't perfect dodges. I managed to yank his favorite bandana with my fist, and it glided to the ground. Something weird happened. It was as if Dromi's expression changed at the drop of his bandana. This is wild. I never would have expected this for his chapter. A cannibalistic monster? The words hit me in the gut. It was time I accepted my destiny. I caused the destruction of this place. I dropped to my knees. The crimson-stained snow. The sobering stench of charred iron. To think of all those who fester inside me. I tried my best to purge my body of it all, but I couldn't. Despair, loss, rage. These emotions are shoved down my throat, ready to burst on a whim. I roar so loud the heavens quake, but there to make a mockery of it all is, of course, the heretic of doom had resurrected in fire. Yeah, that was, let's just, that was a lot, y'all. I needed that to end like a whole hour ago. Like, we could have just ended it right at the beginning of chapter 3. Like, right when Kurobo swam away and we was in the ice cavern, like, it needed to end right there. I don't even want to get to chapter 4. It's just, I never really expected that from Dromi, y'all. Like, what the heck? What is really going on, y'all? Woo! So stay tuned in with me for the next, I would like to say, thrilling episode of chapter 4 for Ignis, but it's gonna be a really, I hope it ends well. Let me just say that. So stay tuned in, y'all. We need to find out why Dromi's exactly acting like this. I feel like maybe Ignis may have killed some of his family members or something. I'm not sure. And we need to get Ignis like just all the way back to normal. We know he's related to some ancestral beast, so we need to sever that connection. Like, let him go. Let Ignis be Ignis. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I have Mafia 3 coming up. I also have this new game right here I got hip to right here, which is going to be another visual novel that I got hip to. and this is gonna be awesome. We all played Resident Evil 4, or hopefully you have played Resident Evil 4, or at least the remake that came out. So this is gonna be next after I finish all of Cafe Enchant. They said it was cringy. I see that right there. But I think I'm gonna like it, because why not? Why the heck not? So stay tuned in, y'all, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe with the bell jingle turned on so you stay tuned in, my wonderful people filled with greatness. And as always, much love, much peace, and catch you on the flip side.